Dude, it's okay.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Oh, now it's, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to the global premiere of Zooming In. And I'm Trevor Bast. I got my old buddy, Rick Rowley, friend of the show, on for my premiere episode. I wasn't going to have it any other way. We've been playing Instagram direct message tag all weekend, but we finally got together. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Buddy, I'm doing fucking great, and it's always a pleasure to be fucking graced by your presence. Like-minded Leafs fan, and you know your shit, so I'm always happy to be on talking to you.
And I have the odd hang with your twin brother out in Victoria here, and we have coffee and talk about our own podcasts and stuff, and it's great time.
Yeah. He's a beauty too, man.
He is a beauty. He is. Yeah. So I'm seeing you all over the place on your own podcast, on your Instagram. I'm not on TikTok, but I imagine you probably have some TikTok content out there. You're guesting on podcasts. You're getting shouted out by other podcasts. Like, what's going on with you, like, professionally these days? Like, how are you getting through this lack of stand-up comedy and the stuff you really want to do? Because you seem to be out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I've said this now, and I've been on a few pods, and I kind of just talk. It's weird for me to even say it, but in a year, I've done like 4 stand-up comedy shows. So they've just been on like fucking people's decks and stuff like that, and like and no like actual comedy clubs. So that's honestly, I sometimes don't even realize how much that's kind of like shock, like being away from that for so long. So I kind of just needed an outlet. So like I said, I was starting to kind of take off with like the social media stuff. And then the last year, once there's nothing going on, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to focus like all my attention and time into this. And then I started my pod probably about a year ago now. And then just stayed kind of fairly consistent with that, starting to get guests on there. And like I said, it's just, I'm doing like at least a couple of videos like every day on something, whether it's Instagram, TikTok. I'm starting to do YouTube now, my podcast, hockey vlogs. And I just want to work hard because I have the time more now to do it because of like the way the world is right now. So so it's kind of like, to be honest, the hard work is kind of like making me stay sane, I would say. And it's cool that, like, you know, to get noticed and shit, but I'm just trying to fucking grind, bud.
Right on, man. So where can people find you? So Instagram? Rick Rowley?
I would say Instagram and TikTok are the ones where it's just like me doing complete like comedy hockey stuff. I've kind of switched it a little. Like, I guess with my TikTok, it's more like just kind of Canadian shit. And I've been adding that more on my Instagram. That kind of helps like build a following, because hockey is a niche market. And don't get me wrong, like, I still love talking about hockey, very knowledgeable about the sport, and love combining comedy and all that shit. But at the same time too, it's like, you know, I was a stand-up comedian. There's more to me than that. So I kind of try to blend both. So like, those are the two where you're seeing like consistent videos. And then the hockey vlogs I'm doing pretty much like once a week. And that's kind of more of just like very like opinionated pieces. I try so hard not to swear in them, which is super tough because I got a bit of a fucking, what is it, like a sailor's mouth or whatever you say. I drop a bunch of F-bombs all the time. And I think actually once here on the podcast, when I was doing a live with you, somebody said like, oh man, he just swears a lot.
Oh yeah, that's right, at the pub there.
Yeah. So that, and then the podcast, and the podcast has been an opportunity for me to tell my stories, because I do lots of storytelling. And you can't fit a story really in an Instagram post or a TikTok video. So I built a bit of a following that's starting to get guests on there now too. So I would say those are like the main things you could find me on, and then just doing other people's shit. And then when people like, you know, post my videos and shout me out. So I guess getting around there a bit.
Do you see the forced way you've been made to make content this past year benefiting you when the world opens up again? Maybe being a more diverse content creator, more diverse comedian. Are there opportunities waiting for you that you know about out there?
Well, I mean, even during everything, I've definitely like, whether it's been a part of projects or talk to people. Some things I've asked to do kind of more because I want to do interviews, like like on the streets and shit like that. I talked to a media company that said that they'd be interested in possibly pursuing it once all of this stuff is like settled. And then other things, like I recently did a project with a bunch of Toronto creators, and it was just for the whole weekend. We had a bunch of people from all different types.
Nice.
Like, because Toronto's so diverse, right? And they all meshed together, and we just kind of shot the shit. So there could be more at that. And yeah, I mean, obviously with stand-up, I think that if the more I build my following, the more I'm able to leverage that, you know, with venues and be like, hey, this is the following I have. I can, you know, guarantee you that I'm able to, you know, sell like bring bodies through the door and all that stuff. So to a degree, I may not be seeing the effects of it right now, but I would think that once it's all said and done, that there could be definitely more possibilities for me.
Right on. So let's zoom over. See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Let's zoom over to the Leafs Habs series, okay? Something that
Yeah.
hasn't happened since '79.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal anymore because the rivalry is kind of just it's as lukewarm as Leafs Ottawa, let's face it. But what is your level of confidence going into the series that the Leafs will finally win a round? And what scares you, or what gives you confidence going forward here?
Yeah, sure. Well, first off, I mean, I talk about the Leafs and Habs rivalry, and somebody actually like came on my pod, dropped a 1-star review and said, fuck you, the rivalry's been dead for 30 years. That's literally so they spent the whole time listening, saying that. I don't know. I mean, they're not two, for instance, they're teams in completely different directions. Like obviously the Leafs are very eager now. They're at the top. So, and then the Habs, not so much. So in a sense, I would say on paper it makes sense. I'm not going to make any predictions this year, bud, because every time I did, like, it fucking blows up in my face. Let's get out there first round first, but I will say on paper it should be 4 or 5 games for the Leafs. Like it really should. It really should be, but you just don't know with, like, you know, were the guys they brought in this year enough to kind of like install confidence in the guys not to like fucking dog it in those like important games and all that shit, because that's been getting outworked has been our Achilles heel in playoffs. So I would say on paper that's the way it should go. I would say I'm pretty confident. I would say that the thing is, and I spoke to a guest about this on my podcast, one of the things that he had mentioned, and I realized too, is that I think maybe the goaltending and the defense sort of concerns me a little bit. You know, I think Soup obviously had a great, you know, feel good story. Like the guy came out, you know, almost 30 years old, right? And he's having like a career year, played lots of games, but the truth is he doesn't have playoff experience. So early on against the Habs, am I really worried about that? Maybe not. But if we go to a team like Tampa or, you know, Carolina, Vegas, Colorado, I would be worried about him being the number 1 goalie against those teams. And then Freddie just in general hasn't, like, to be honest, like under 900 save percentage, very concerning for a starting tendy. So that concerns me a little bit. And then just the defense too. Like I really felt that Morgan Riley sort of had an off year, I would say, like compared to, you know, 2 years ago when it was like a 70-point guy. So the defense and the goalies definitely, the tending do make me a little bit nervous going into the playoffs.
Less able to withstand an injury in those positions versus our forward depth for sure. Like 100%. This team's even proven they could win games without Austin Matthews, for, you know, because that's how much more polarizing defense and goaltending is. So you know what? I got to wrap this up. We're going to keep it in a certain timeline here because nobody wants to watch me for more than like 8 minutes. And so that's science, buddy. That's science. So the podcast is Beauty Sauce. Follow you on all your social medias, and man,
Rick
like,
Rowley 3.
Go Leafs, go.
Yeah, you beauty, man. Let's get it done. No more excuses this year. Let's get over round 1.
Let's go.
Fuck yeah.